And today we're going to work on the build-up. So this is where sort of everyday life for your character begins to change. All right, I've put the plan section up here that we worked on Monday. And I was going to start with one particularly blowy day. All right, so I'm going to write that first. So one particularly blowy day Jack looked out of the cottage window and noticed some monstrous waves rising and crashing out at sea. Okay, so that's the first bit that I had put down in my notes on Monday. So particularly blowy day, Jack noticed some monstrous waves rising and crashing out at sea. I've kept the same sentence because I quite like that sentence. He looked harder and saw a tiny bobbing boat in trouble, like a timid mouse on the storm-racked sea. So we need to put a little bit more detail in there, and we need to get Fluffy involved a little bit. And I think I might put a bit of speaking in there. You don't have to put speaking in yours, but if you do, it'll make it a little bit more interesting, and you can try and punctuate it properly with inverted commas. So I'll show you how to do that. So let's see if we can move on to that bit now. He looked harder and he then saw a tiny bobbing boat. So he looked harder and then saw a tiny bobbing boat. I think we'll put that's unable to get back into the harbour. Tiny bobbing boat. Should we say unable? Just put unable. So it's trying to get back in, but it can't. Unable to get back into the harbour. It's very blowy. I expect the tide is pushing it out, the big waves. So I think he's going to talk to Fluffy. So I'm going to put some inverted commas there. Fluffy. I'm going to close them after a comma, and then I'm going to put he said. Fluffy, he said. And then I'm going to stop that sentence and start a new sentence. And then we're going to start a new sentence. There is a boat out there, and then I'm going to put this timid mouse bit. There is a boat out there. That looks just like a timid mouse. Boat out there that looks just like a timid mouse on that storm-racked sea. Okay, full stop. And that's the end of what he's going to say. So we're going to close our speech marks there, inverted commas. So Fluffy's going to have a look at this. So Fluffy flew onto Jack's shoulder, apostrophe S because the shoulder belongs to Jack, flew onto Jack's shoulder and followed followed his pointed finger. So he's pointing out of the window to show her, and she's following that point. And followed his pointed finger. Okay, so now we've got Fluffy involved in the story as well. So sometimes you have to do this. When you make your notes, you've got to put a little bit of a link in so that it makes really good sense for the people who are reading it. So we've got all our information. Next bit, Jack and Fluffy decided to go and help. Fluffy must go too to help against the wild wave horses. Okay, so we need to add that little bit in now. So, sure enough, she's going to see the boat. So, sure enough, we could say spotted, that's a better word than saw, isn't it? She spotted the boat in trouble. Let me just move that up a little bit now. She spotted the boat in trouble. Okay, so this is Jack now. So at once Jack grabbed his jacket and boots. Got the idea of him getting dressed to go out into the sea, into his boat, and he raced out to his boat. And raced out to his boat. So Fluffy's going to go with him, okay, because he's going to need help against these wild wave horses. Okay, so brave Fluffy knew she must help him. She knew she's got to help him, for he would be no match. So this is the same language, isn't it, as in the original story? Mouser knew that Tom would be no match for the Great Storm Cat. So we're going to use that same language. She must help him, for, that's another way of saying because, or you could write because he would be no match for the wild, in our case, the wild wave horses. Okay, so I think that's important for us to try and use some of that lovely language. I think we're going to see where they are, out at sea. Okay, so what is she going to do? She's in the cottage, he's gone. She's going to go out. Now we could say flew, we could say swooped, but we've used that already. So I'm thinking of a slightly better word, and I think what we might have is dived. I've got an idea of her diving through the door. She dived through the cottage door. Where is she going to end up? Is she going to end up on his shoulder? She quite likes perching on places, doesn't she? So she dives through the cottage door. I think she's just going to land, isn't she? Comma. Landed on Jack's shoulder. So now they're ready to go. They're ready to go into action, okay, and go and help. And so they're going to set off through the mouse hole gap. And they both set off through the mouse hole gap.